Hello friends, welcome to the elite class. In our previous lecture, we studied about the Chancelede Man, and today we're going to start Grimaldi Man. Let's get started. So, talking about the Grimaldi Man, there is a place in Italy. In Italy, there is a place, or we can say a village, and that name of the village is Grimaldi, where there was a cave, and that cave was known as Grotte des Enfants. This was the name of that cave, where we found two fossils, one of a 30-year-old woman and another of a 15-year-old boy. And these two are actually the fossils of the Grimaldi Man. And these fossils were discovered by the Canon de Villeneuve. He is the one who discovered the skeleton of a woman and a boy in the cave called Grotte des Enfants in the Menton, Italy, and this represents the fossils of the Grimaldi Man. Grimaldi Man is said to resemble the modern day Negroids. These Grimaldi Man are associated with the Aurignacian culture, about which I have already explained in the Cro-Magnon Man's lecture. Moving forward to the cranial capacity, the cranial capacity of the Grimaldi Man is in between 1265 to 1450 cc. So this is the cranial capacity of the Grimaldi Man. Coming to the physical features, the skull of Grimaldi Man is hyperdolichocephalic. Now what do we mean by the hyperdolichocephalic? It simply means the skull is more long and quite narrower. So if we see that the skull is longer, it may be like this, but it's a narrow. So in the length it is long, but in the breadth it is narrower. It has an elliptical contour. You can see this is an elliptical contour as you see in here. So this is elliptical in shape over here. This is because the parietal tuberosities is absent in them. If there has been a developed parietal tuberosities, so it will be flat over here, and this shape would not have been in elliptical. So that is why the elliptical contour is due to the absence of the parietal tuberosities. So they have a bulged forehead. This is very much clear here that they have a bulged forehead, and they have poorly developed supraorbital ridge. The supraorbital ridge is simply a part of the front bone. Now they have rectangular orbits. This is very clear as we can see from this diagram. They have the rectangular orbits, and they have poorly developed chin. There is poorly developed chin. It is not distinctly developed. It is developed, but it's very poorly developed. Moving forward, their nose is depressed at the root. Nose is depressed at the root simply makes their appearance more like of the Negroids. You can see if it is like this, and in the root point it gets a bit depressed. So it resembles more to the present day Negroids. They have a narrow and a high palate. Their palate is very narrow. They have a very narrow palate, and it's quite high. So when their palate is narrow, so it gives a triangular outline to their face outline. Clear? So their teeth are large, and the molars in the upper jaw have 4 cusps, and the lower jaw have 5 cusps. Now if we have bicusp, so it will be like this, but when it's 4 cusps, so it will be somewhat like this, this and this. And in the 5 cusps, so it will have 1 more cusp added to it. Now the forearms and the lower legs, that is their forearms and the lower legs are longer than their thighs and the upper arms, and their hind limbs are very longer in comparison to their fore limbs. Moving forward here, you can see that this is the rectangular orbits, their face shape. This is the broader one here, and in going down it is going narrower and giving it a triangular shape. Moving forward, their phylogeny. Now, as we know that the Grimaldi man belong to the late Pleistocene era, and they represent the early population of Europe, and this gives them the evidence of the negroids in Europe in origination times. So this that they represent the early population of Europe gives us an evidence that they are the evidence of the presence of negroids in Europe in the origination times. They are supposed to represent the late incursions of the African race into the European territory also. With this, we're done with our Grimaldi man. Thank you so much for listening. If you have liked the video, kindly give it a thumbs up and please do subscribe to my channel. So we'll meet you in the next lecture. Thank you so much.